So we are recording.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hmm.
We're here live. It's 5 p.m. on a nice Thursday afternoon. Really beautiful outside. And we're here with, I'm Romi. I'm the founder of Soul Play Festival. And I'm here today with Scott Catamas, Emily Orum, Monique Darling, and Peterson.
And Romi just froze. There you go. You're back. You froze for a quick moment.
Okay. Well, I would love for us to just go around just for a moment and each one of us introduce ourselves. So perhaps Scott, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Scott Catamas, and I'm a relationship coach, co-founder with Emily and a couple of other people of the Love Coach Academy. And we offer coaching, online courses, and we love life. And we love to support people to enjoy life to the fullest. And we love soul play, and we love to explore what soul play means in our lives. And I'm excited about this discussion, this conversation we're about to have.
Yeah.
And I'm Emily. I'm a love and relationship coach, also the co-founder of Love Coach Academy. And we believe that the most important thing in life is connection. And so we support people to learn tools and practices about how to make connection the most important thing, and to really let go of what sabotages that and teach people how to have really nourishing, compassionate, loving relations.
Thank you, Emily. Monique?
And I'm Monique Darling, and what I love to do is help people remember that they are the gift. And I had so much of my life that I was told that everything about me was wrong. And when I finally found Soul Tribe and no, actually who you are is unique and beautiful and wonderful, then it became my greatest passion to be able to let people know they have a choice, and who you are is incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Peterson. I teach Qigong, meditation, dance, and Tantra. And I love helping people find their inner sparkle, their joy, their passion of why they're here on this planet. And we love to help people find where depth and connection and freedom all meet at a crossroad and to play with each other.
Beautiful. So thank you, everyone. And once again, my name is Romi. I am your host this evening, and I am also the founder of Soul Play Festival, which is really, Soul Play is an organization that we produce events and environments that get people together to really shed some of their layers and find out something about themselves, find out there's something about their true, authentic self, so that they can connect with themselves, with each other, and with their environment in a really profound way, in a way that really brings a whole new meaning, a whole new sense of aliveness into life. And today I really wanted to kind of open this discussion with these great people. Everyone here in the room are going to be presenting at Soul Play Festival this year, that's happening this June. And really what I wanted to ask is, first of all, kind of when you hear the word soul play, soul play, what do these words mean to you? And we don't have to go in order. Maybe we can, anyone who wants to go first, just.
Well, I've got something. For me, I like it because I feel higher. I feel like all of a sudden I'm looking at the big picture of life. It takes me out of the minutia of daily grind or details and into, oh yeah, wow, I am in a body. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and my soul has come here to play in this body. And it really reminds me of the big picture of life. So that's kind of the first thing that happens for me.
I love that, Scott. And I know when I hear that word, then it really brings up this soul recognition. And so as I look around, I can feel like this soul play and getting to play with Soul Tribe as we all get to remember our core truths. And that comes out when we can play, when we can commune, when we can really, really get to that authentic soul truth that each of us have. And then there's more permission for us to play together at that soul level.
I think most most people we meet are kind of disconnected from their true authentic self. They're living, based in what the conditioning is that they grew up in, or their parents told them to be, or what I should be to be successful. And I think a lot of people are operating in the sense of kind of unhappiness, and because they're not really living from that authentic joy of the innocence, the childlike wonder that they are. And so when we bring back this sense of innocence, and when you were a kid, what lit you up? What were your superpowers? Like, I went on a run today and I saw two kids kind of playing in the leaves, making a fort, and they looked up at me like, ooh, there's the adult, looking down at me. And I was thinking, oh no, you don't recognize, like, I'm a kid just like you, like I want to come that fort with you. And so it's just this dynamic interplay of taking off the masks and the layers to become that authentic childlike that we all have inside of us, and bringing that out within community where we get celebrated for that, and we get to play in that together in community.
Beautiful.
I resonate with all three of those. Soul tribe, higher self, releasing the masks of the everyday life. Yeah, I totally agree. It's just like a frolicking and connection in a totally different way that we normally don't get to connect with other people. So that's why I appreciate people.
I love the word frolicking. How often do we hear that word in daily life? How often are we frolicking about? It's a great word for soul play.
The kids are frolicking in the leaves. That's his frolicking.
Yeah.
And I want to say, I think people are attracted to us as presenters is because they want what we vibe. And this is for us, of course we have business, we have roles we have to play, we have, jobs and things, but we authentically know how to live from this essence. And life becomes a joy rather than a weight or a burden of something to manage. And I think most people come to us because they have all the things. They got the kids, they've got the job, they've got all these things, and they come to us and they're still unhappy. And so we teach them how they can bring this soul play and incorporate it as a way of life, and then come together in dynamic interplays with tribe of people that get that.
Or that are discovering that together. I think there's I don't think you ever really get that. I think we're all kind of on this journey of discovery, and we keep on finding another layer, and lo and behold, we finally get it, and then there's another layer there below it, and it's kind of just the way I see it. It's I mean, the fun, the play, the joy is in that journey. It's in the feeling itself. It's not in the destination per se.
Yeah. Definitely. And part of that also means doing the work to, again, de-layer, like you said, peel the layers of the onion, which isn't always an ecstatically yummy experience. It's like moving through the fears, moving through looking at our belief systems that have really, hindered us from that. But if we know in the direction of where we're moving and we focus on that, then we can kind of like go through it and ride out to the other side and feel that liberation. And it is a constant process. It's like, okay, there's another layer,
I feel like one of the greatest gifts of really diving into that soul play on a continuous life basis is compassion. And as you unpeel the layers and hold other people in those places, there's this deep level of compassion that starts with that acceptance, and it starts replacing those judgments that we've had of ourselves and of everyone around us. And all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I felt that last week, or I felt that this morning, and so I can sit here and be with you in that deep level of compassion. And I think that's a huge level of soul play too.
I know one of the presenters that's a good friend of ours is Jonathan Robinson, and Jonathan has a wonderful quote. Whenever he sees somebody doing something and he notices he has a judgmental thought, or, a make wrong comes up in his mind, he stops and he goes, oh, just like me. In other words, I can find that inside myself. And learning that we can find inside ourselves anything that we're judging another person for is how we cultivate that compassion that you're talking about, Monique, and that acceptance of the human experience.
For me, play also means passion. I appreciate the compassionate component, but what really fires me up to be playful is what I'm passionate about, which is movement and music, and moving to that music, and also connecting with other people in that playground through touch. So I feel like really what gets me going is passion is what gets me to play.
That's actually a great segue, Peter. I wanted to ask kind of the next question. Kind of what do you think really is, what are the benefits of play, of soul play? Like, why do it? Why is this important at all?
I've got to go, but I'll go in a minute. Go ahead.
I think for me, it uplifts my vibrational resonance. And so it brings out my inner sparkle, as Peter says, and when we live in a place of celebration, life becomes joy. It doesn't become about, what's wrong or living from a space of fear or deficiency. It comes up from that joy of recognizing, how can I find play within the unknown? How can I feel something edgy and breathe into the fear and feel that bubbling of excitement? How can I learn something new and, move through the edginess or the fear, but then see what that opens up for me, like a whole new world of something that I didn't experience before. And for me, it feels like really being on a path of authentic celebration, which is also igniting freedom and liberation.
Beautiful.
Really good. Hard to follow.
Yeah. Benefits of soul. Well, and just, I think, again, it's kind of a repeat of what's already been said, but just learning to lighten things up, learning to really enjoy life. And it's like, okay, let's, we're only in these bodies for a very limited time, really. And life is precious. We all have friends who have passed away. And to really enjoy that peach as you're eating it, enjoy playing with each other, enjoy life, getting out of our heads and into the enjoyment part of things. It's just so important. I was teaching a class at Harbin many years ago, and we had the list of universal human needs, and I had asked all the different participants, maybe there were 12, 15 people in a circle, what are 3 of these words that you'd like to have more of in your life? And these are all words that we all, these are universal human needs. And this one adult man goes, "You've got the word play here." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, that's not for adults. I'm a father. I have 3 children. Play is for kids. Play is for children." Well, of course, we're at Harbin Hot Springs, so you can imagine how everybody there was like, "No, you got to play. You got to play. Take off your clothes. We're at Harbin," But here we are, years later, I'll never forget that guy who really had bought into the idea that only children play. Adults don't play. This is not an appropriate word for an adult list of universal human needs, and sadly, there's a lot of people that I think are in that place. So may we remind them that we want to play at all ages, at all times.
I'd love to follow up with that in vulnerability. I feel like we're going deeper. Like I felt the resonance just drop down. So thank you, Scott, for taking us there. I grew up being a parent to my mom. My mom was an addict, and there wasn't really anyone there, I would say, available for me. And so from a young age, I really had to be the parent, supplying my mom, things to be well. She had a near-death experience. I saved her when I was 5, and lots of drug addicts. So I used to, they had meth wounds and I'd put peroxide on them. I just had this innate caregiver, wanting to support life. And so there was a lot of ways that I would say it's not been until the last 3 years that I've really authentically allowed myself to play. And I'm 35. And so for me, it was about survival, and so there was no time to play. And so there is this part of my inner child that feels really sad and that's had to really recover that little girl that didn't know that she could play. It wasn't safe to play. There was no time to play. It was awkward to play. And so there is the pain body of what I had to face to learn how to re-embody and cultivate that in my life. And it's a newer experience for me. And it's interesting because most people see me and they see my playful spirit, but it's only been in the last 3 years that I really allowed myself to really learn how to play on a deeper level.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm delighted that I want to thank you, since I've gotten to spend those 3 years with you. Thank you for all the ways you've brought more play into my life, into our home, into our temple. I really appreciate that. Thank you for lightening. I mean, I've lightened up so much from your reflection and your support. So thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, one of the greatest gifts of soul play for me has been collaboration and synergy. And as you really dive into the layers and you realize that you're not alone, and whatever the story is that you bought into or you identify with, then as you start expressing yourself through play, through unpeeling those layers, you start realizing, oh, there's these other people that have really experienced something similar. And then as you start opening up and you start playing and you start just shining and sparkling and becoming more you, there's this deep, deep synergy that starts happening where, say, Scott and I are in a room and we're sharing together, then we're reaching and giving people 100 times more than what either of us could have given to them by ourselves. And I've seen this phenomenon over and over and over again as people really dare to dive in and play within all those soul parts. And it's like all of our soul parts multiply by 1 billion and everybody gets more.
So play means collaboration, and also means presence.
Nice.
When you're really present, you can have so much more out of your play. And when you're playing with someone in the room, you have that, and you really are connected and aware and awake with that person, then you have this synergy in it, and you up-level each other's fun, so to speak. And yeah, so to me, it's collaboration and also presence is what playfulness means.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, and I'd even add, it's beautiful what you just said, Monique, and I feel like that's what we're really trying to do here, all of us, by getting people together and getting people out of their comfort zone so that they can play together to become more than what they were individually capable of before, to create something that's bigger than the sum of their parts. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing seeing people come in together. And yes, some people that maybe didn't have the chance to play when they were younger, and we provide, there's an opportunity to provide space for that, where they can rediscover a certain life force that was lost. Or for some people that it comes maybe a little bit easier to them, it's a way for them to share their light with other people. And it's really this beautiful way in which, as humans, I feel we come together and help each other out along this journey, along our ride, and really kind of lift each other up everywhere where they are, and kind of all align and meet each other at that place.
Nice.
That's something we encounter quite a bit on our travels. We travel quite a bit extensively, and people come up to us all the time and go, I want what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you're so bright and shiny and sparkly, and you're laughing and giggling. What's going on? And it's well, we're playing. We're having fun. We're in our passion, which is helping people become more passionate about themselves and who they are. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful space you're able to provide in allowing people to really be yeah, this is my birthright to play.
I'm thinking about how wonderful the festival itself is, and it's great because it's like heaven on earth for 4 days. We are all coming together and we're really doing what our souls most love to do. We're doing yoga, compassionate communication, learning about sustainability, dancing together, playing. It's all the things that light up our souls the most, and that's all we're doing for 4 days. It's awesome.
I do.
And the question is, and that's, it brings us to this other question, which is, how do we make this more than just a peak experience for 4 days, or a peak experience for a weekend workshop, or an evening? How do we really take these lessons and internalize them, so we can kind of start living, like, so people can really live their lives in this mode of play in this way? Maybe you have any kind of tips or thoughts for how you guys do that?
Well, I think a good tip is when you listen to your body, like the instinct of, wow, this is something that I want to go to, and your body starts to light up. That to me is a signal that that's a yes. Like when my body lights up to things, I'm like, ooh, there's something that's intriguing, or there's some kind of medicine that's really bringing me or telling me to come to this festival. And then I kind of slow down and I listen to my body and I tune in. It's like, oh wow, what's my intention? Like, what am I longing for to actually bring into my life, or what is drawing me here, or what feels like a piece of medicine that I am wanting to embody into my life? And then go and then start to really watch what I call the miracles, or watch the things that start to come in at the festival, and see and keep bringing it back to, oh, wow, okay, how does that relate to my intention? How does that relate to what that's giving me and growing in me? Because the thing is that if it's growing within you, then it's changing you. It's like you're literally growing these virtues or character strengths or forms of energy or vibrational resonances.
So it's kind of an ongoing check-in, it sounds like, introspection, where you're kind of taking it on and learning the lessons as they're happening. Interesting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I want to, two things come up for me. One is just the question itself. It is true that often after this amazing 4 days, we just led a 7-day retreat, and several people reported to us a crash after being with, in this intimate environment where everybody's safe and we're taking good care of each other and we're playing at a really deep level and we're dancing and we're moving and we're learning these tools. For some people to go back out into the world where they were, it's harsh, it's difficult. And there is, I love the question, like, how can we take this inspiration from the 4 days, and instead of going back out into the world and having it be a crash, sustain and carry on, what turned us on and what we got excited about. And I think it's a good ongoing conversation.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways that I just want to mention that one of the ways that we do this at the festival itself, and I think at your events, it's the exact same. There's something about the peaks and the highs coming from internal energy, and kind of it's a very kind of sober human high experience, which I think a lot of people are used to just partying and drinking a lot of alcohol, and kind of that's how they kind of are able to shed some of their masks. And I think something that's really special happens when people release the need to sedate, and they're able to kind of embrace that high and that life force kind of full on. And when they leave it, when they go home, it actually feels more like the regular life, and it's not this kind of thing that you can only do on a weekend or way away from home.
Yeah.
I feel like being up in the mountains is a great way to integrate the energy and information that gets transmuted between you and everybody else there. And just taking some time before you go back down into the valley or wherever you're going, just go connect with the tree or go connect to the stream, and really allow that information to move through you without any thoughts or judgments of what has happened. And also for us facilitators and teachers to remind people, like, hey, take this out into the world. Don't just feel like it's like this is a little bubble and you're going back to your normal daily life and do your normal daily behaviors. Like, no, take this love, take this energy and this information and share it with everybody around you, and you'll notice your world will change.
If you walk into the workshops or the festival really looking for these brand new reference points, because that's what the peaks and the highs can give you, are new reference points as to how great you can feel in your body. And so then you take those reference points and then start developing your own daily practice. And one of the greatest tips or tools I can give people is see how you break your habits. That's why people love to go to festivals or go on vacation, is because it takes you away from your daily routine. So what are the ways that you broke your habits? What pattern interrupts did you have at the festival that then you can continue when you go home? Because it's so much of our habits that we're doing that keep us in that space of our self-imposed limitations. So the festival or workshops, wherever you're going experiencing these peaks, that can give you that new reference point. Oh, when I'm home, I don't have to go on that same walk. I don't have to have the same thing for lunch. I don't have to have that same argument with my partner. And so it starts giving you those new ways of living your life.
Yeah, really introduce you to like just a new perspective. So you can come home with and look at your own life through new eyes.
I call it self-care, learning self-care anchors. So, just like today, I listened to a 20-minute meditation. I breathed, I went on a run. I did abs. So it's just like those little things that really set us up to win. And recognizing it can be so simple. Like I changed a habit, like instead of getting up and pouring a cup of coffee, I go outside and I breathe for 5 minutes. It can be as simple as that, because I think a lot of people think, they have a peak experience and they think it's like this big shift. I got to do this. If I don't create an hour for meditation, then I'm not going to do it. So it's like, keep it simple. Like, how can I create simple practices that help me shift and create positive self-care anchors?
Well, and so many people think that the shift has to come from something outside of themselves. Like, I have to get a cup of coffee in order to get my day going. No, you can self-source your own energy to create the day that you want. You are not dependent upon other things to really create or manifest the things you want in your life. So it's like what Monique says, is anchoring in new behavior patterns and new systems that can create a new system of life for yourself.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that. And yeah, I think actually on that note, I think that was great. I would like to actually really just thank you all for being here today. I think it was really interesting, and I'm so excited to continue working with you and see what you have to bring. Maybe you want to take a moment to talk about, like, in short, each one, what you have coming up for your own work, kind of to invite some people to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could touch on just briefly what we're going to be offering at the Soul Play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I believe Emily and I are doing 2 play shops. I think one is from codependence to interdependence, how to be in a relationship, but to avoid some of the traps of codependency and breaking out of that victim, perpetrator, rescuer triangle, and recognizing that we are interdependent. We have an impact on each other, and to be really conscious about it. And like Peter was talking about, a lot about self-sourcing, not basing our happiness on what the other person is or isn't doing for us. So that's one of the 2 play shops that Emily and I are going to be teaching at Soul Play.
The second one is how to manage a crazy brain in love, just recognizing again that we have this animal body. We've got this reptile brain and we all get triggered. There's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing bad about us when we get triggered. It's all about learning tips, tools, and practices of how to manage the reptile brain and how to set us up to win instead of going into, self-shame, judgment, make wrong, all the habits, and move deeper, like we call lean in. When we're in reptile brain, how do we lean in and create a win-win? Or how do we lean into compassion rather than the whole polarity dynamics, He pulls away, she goes running after. He pulls away more, she goes running after. It's like, no, how do we recognize what's going on, lean in, and really create a win-win?
Beautiful.
Well, last year, Peter got to do his dance and Qigong class, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful space at the Soul Play Festival that's outside under this tree, and everyone had the most incredible experience, and I got to sit and be a part of it instead of up front teaching, and it was just this beautiful, amazing space of everyone getting to interact and feel that energy moving amongst themselves and amongst nature. And so I'm really looking forward to being a part of that again. And then we're bringing one of our newest classes of a couples tantric massage practice. And so it's one of the few
Want to go to that one?
couples are invited to come together and get to really have this experience of being able to touch one another without agenda, without like the techniques that we've been taught, and how to really just explore one another with tantric practices to bring out that sparkle in your partner's body and their soul. And we're really
Oh my God, I'm melting right now.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
I could use a couple's tantric massage right now.
Yes, please, now.
I want to.
You gotta come to the class, guys. You gotta come to the class.
I want to acknowledge Christina. It's so wonderful that we actually have one person with us that we can be talking to. So thank you, Christina, for like being with us and smiling and listening and giving us an audience. So I really appreciate that. And by the way, if you saw I've been stroking my dog down here, and he teaches me all about stroke.
That's what you were stroking, Scott?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm not around. I gotta say, I'm not around. So
he's not around. Boobly gets extra attention for sure.
Self-care anchors right there, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That was really great. And yeah, Soul Play Festival coming up this June 8th to 11th. It's in Pinecrest, California, which is a bit north of Yosemite, about 3 hours from the Bay Area. Website is soulplayfestival.com. It's really a beautiful experience. It's both fun, it's filled with growth and depth. There's beautiful people like these guys here, and just a whole beautiful community to come play in the mountains and the sun and the pools, and kind of really celebrate and embrace our human life.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it together. And thank you to your amazing team of people. It is our favorite festival of the year, and we're really looking forward to being there. And thank you for all that you do to make it happen.
Thanks for bringing together the soul tribe, Romi, in so many ways.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
And goodbye, everyone. It's really
Take care.
fun. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.